A very good day to you all. My name is Pastor Lawrence Mazenge and welcome to Daily Inspiration. Today we are reading from the book of Psalms chapter 21 verses 11 to 13, and the Bible says, "For they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform. Therefore shalt thou make them turn their back, when thou shalt make ready thine arrows upon thy strings against the face of them. But be thou exalted, Lord, in thine own strength, so will we sing and praise thy power." Our message today is titled, "The enemy's plans will not prevail." One thing you need to understand is that when you become a Christian, it does not mean to say all your enemies have been wiped out of your life. Becoming a Christian is not a thing that makes you immune to enemies. Becoming a Christian actually raises more enemies against your life, because the word enemy only applies to the kingdom of darkness. It's one of the negative words that came after the kingdom of darkness had taken over from Adam and Eve after deceiving them. So I want you to understand the devil is the chief enemy, and when you become a Christian, you go on the spotlight of the devil, which means he begins to raise people to plan and plot against you. One thing that he wants, because he knows very well that all things being equal, the plans of the enemies will never prevail against you for as long as God is on your side. So one thing that the devil desires is to put fear in your life. Once he has put fear in your life, then fear opens a door for him to conquer you. So what I want you to understand in today's message is that the enemy may plan against your life. Never allow the plans of the enemy to instill fear in you, because the fear that the enemy instills in you is the door which he uses to enter into your life, and his plans will prevail against your life. So it's not the plans that prevail. It is the fear that he instills in your life that makes the plan to prevail. I want you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that if God is on our side, we will look at the enemy's planning, but we should be guaranteed and we should know that their plans will never prevail against us, because God is always protecting us. When you look at the Bible, there were people with enemies, but they were on God's side and they prevailed. When we look at Abraham, he was a man with a lot of people against him. Sometimes they took away his wife, sometimes they would go against him, sometimes they took away his nephew Lot. He would go and conquer all those enemies. Why? Because God was on his side. He had no fear because he trusted in God. When you look at Jacob, when you look at Joseph, Joseph was sold by his brothers. They were his enemies. He was sold into Potiphar's house. Potiphar's wife became his enemy. A lot of things were happening in his life, but the enemies never prevailed. Of course, their victory was temporary, but temporary victory is different from permanent victory, because Joseph sat on the throne for the rest of his life until he died. That was the permanent victory. The temporary victory was actually driving Joseph into the throne, was actually driving Joseph to the place of victory. I want you to understand, don't be afraid and don't be scared of the enemies. God will not allow them to prevail against you. When you read the Bible in the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verses 16 to 19, it says, "These 6 things does the Lord hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, and heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren." All the people that God has mentioned, or that the Bible has mentioned here, are people who are devices of wickedness. And the Bible is saying those 6 things the Lord hates. I want you to understand, your enemy, when they are devising their wickedness against your life, God is seeing them. And the Bible is saying God hates people who do those things which your enemies are doing against you. And so the moment someone's character or behavior is hated by God, that person's desire to conquer you will never prevail for as long as you remain on God's side. I would rather be on the side of God than to be on the side of people who are doing what God hates. I want you to understand your enemies will never prevail against you for as long as you're on God's side. My name is Pastor Lawrence Mazenge. This is Daily Inspiration. God bless you and have a wonderful day.